Good day, everyone. So, for today, we're going to talk about Java. So, what is Java programming? So, Java is a powerful general purpose programming language. It is used to develop desktop and mobile applications, big data processing, embedded systems, and so on. So, according to Oracle, the company that owns Java, Java runs on 3 billion devices worldwide, which makes Java one of the most popular programming languages in the world. So, what I learned when I watched the tutorial videos is one is the data type. So, just like any other programming languages, Java has its own data types too. So, for the first data type, we called it as integers. So, we are all familiar with integers. So integers are numbers without a decimal part. For example, 1, 2, 100, -4, -9, and 0. So for the next data type, which is the real numbers. So real numbers are numbers with a decimal part like 1.5, 2.25, -4.7, 1.0, and so on. So for the next data type, we called it as characters. So characters are where we can found it on our keyboards like A, B, C, and it is surrounded by single quotes. So for the next data type, the strings. So the strings are the group of characters which are now surrounded by double quotes. So for the next one, the Boolean. So we are all familiar with that as a programmer. So a Boolean is a two part which is the true or false. It only represents true or false. And it is also used to create conditions. So for the last data type, we called it as user defined types. So what are those? So it is used to create a custom type using classes and objects. So for the next video that I watched, I learned about the if statement, which we use in other programming languages also. And Java also has it too. So an if statement, it is used to execute a piece of code based on a condition. So it is also used to specify a block of code to be executed if if a specified condition is true. So its syntax is if condition and the block of code to be executed if the condition is true. So for the next one is the if else if statement. So just like if statement, it also adds another condition and it will become a two or more conditions. So Java has the following conditional statements. So use if to specify a block of code to be executed if a specified condition is true. Use else to specify a block of code to be executed if the same condition is false. Use else if to specify a new condition to test if the first condition is false. So the syntax is quite similar with if statement with an additional codes in the else block. So for the fourth video that I watched, I learned about the for loop. So we are all familiar with this because we used it in our previous programming languages. So a for loop is a repetition control structure that allows you to efficiently write a loop that needs to be executed a number of times. So a for loop is used when you know how many times a task is to be repeated. If the number of iteration is fixed, it is recommended to use for loop. So a simple for loop is as the same as with C or C++. We can initiate the variable, check condition, and increment or decrement the value. So the for loop consists of four parts. So the first one is the initialization, which is executed when the loop starts. The second one is the condition, and it is the second condition which is executed each time to test the condition of the loop. So for the third one, the statement of the loop is executed each time until the second condition is false. So for the final one is the increment or decrement. So it increments or decrements the variable value. It is an optional condition. So for the syntax, just what I said earlier, the syntax is for the initialization, condition, increment or decrement, and the statement or code to be executed. So for the fifth video, I learned about while loop. So we used it in menus like we did when we tackled another programming languages before. So a while loop statement in Java programming repeatedly executes a target statement as long as a given condition is true. So its syntax is while, Boolean expression, and the statement. So for the final one, the do while loop, which is also used in menus, in creating menus, and it is used to iterate a part of the program several times. If the number of iteration is not fixed and you must have to execute the loop at least once, it is recommended to use a do while loop. So the Java do while loop is executed at least once because condition is checked after loop body. So the syntax is do curly brace code to be executed, and then while and the condition. So when I watch the tutorial videos, I learned a lot about Java programming since it's the first time we will use it in our studies, and I hope to learn more about Java programming. So thank you for listening, and I am Kristine Landong from BSIT 21.